philosopher's transformative journey. Part 1. Arthur Schopenhauer was one of the most influential philosophers of the 19th century. Born in 1788 in Danzig, he grew up in a wealthy merchant family, which provided him with a refined education and exposure to many European cultures. From an early age, Schopenhauer showed an introspective and critical personality, preferring studies over his father's commercial ambitions. After his father's death, his life took a decisive turn, as he chose to dedicate himself entirely to philosophy. In his early studies, he immersed himself in the works of Plato and Kant, which became the foundation of his later thought. However, it was through contact with Eastern philosophy, such as the Upanishads and Buddhism, that Schopenhauer found decisive elements for his worldview. From this point on, he began to build a philosophy centered on the concept of will, which he considered the essential and irrational force driving all of reality. Endless desire, endless pain. 2. For Schopenhauer, the will is a blind and uncontrollable force that lies beneath all appearances. It manifests in nature, in human beings, and in every form of existence. Unlike reason, which he saw as secondary, the will is irrational and never fully satisfied. This endless desire, according to him, is the root of suffering in the world. Schopenhauer believed that life itself is marked by pain and frustration. Whenever a desire is fulfilled, new ones quickly arise, creating a constant cycle of dissatisfaction. This pessimistic vision made him one of the first Western philosophers to openly declare that existence is full of suffering, echoing themes found in Buddhism and Hinduism. For him, happiness is never lasting. At best, humans experience brief moments of relief between waves of suffering. Art as escape. 3. Schopenhauer argued that art offers a temporary escape from the endless cycle of desire and suffering. When a person contemplates a work of art, listens to music, or immerses themselves in beauty, they are lifted above their personal will. For him, art allowed individuals to step outside the constant struggle of existence, even if only for a short time. Among all the arts, Schopenhauer placed music at the highest level. He believed that music did not merely imitate appearances, but directly expressed the essence of the will itself. Through music, he claimed, humans can connect to a deeper truth about existence, beyond words or rational thought. Thus, while life was full of pain, art became a window to transcendence and a rare form of peace. Empathy over self-interest. 4. In addition to art, Schopenhauer saw compassion and moral awareness as ways to mitigate suffering. He believed that by recognizing the suffering of others, individuals could act with kindness and restraint, temporarily freeing themselves from the demands of their own will. Unlike many philosophers who emphasized reason as the guide to morality, Schopenhauer argued that true ethical behavior comes from empathy and the direct perception of pain in others. Acts of compassion, he claimed, represent moments when a person rises above selfish desire, experiencing a rare connection to the deeper reality of the will. However, Schopenhauer warned that such moral acts are exceptions rather than the rule. Most people remain trapped in self-interest, driven by endless cravings, unaware of the suffering their desires produce. This perspective reinforced his pessimistic worldview, in which life is essentially a struggle filled with suffering, desire, and the fleeting moments of relief offered by art, contemplation, and compassion. Escape desire, find peace. 5. Schopenhauer also explored the concept of denial of the will, a form of spiritual or philosophical renunciation. He argued that the only way to escape the endless cycle of desire and suffering was to reduce the influence of the will in one's life. This idea was influenced by Eastern philosophies, particularly Buddhism and Hinduism, where detachment from worldly desires is a path to liberation. By practicing self-discipline, asceticism, and detachment, individuals could achieve moments of inner peace and freedom from the constant demands of the will. For Schopenhauer, this denial was not about rejecting life entirely, but about understanding its nature and minimizing the suffering caused by unchecked desire. He saw it as a practical philosophy, offering tools to cope with life's inevitable hardships. Through art, compassion, and renunciation, humans could navigate existence with greater awareness and reduce the pain inherent in living. Philosophy's profound legacy. 6. Schopenhauer's philosophy had a profound influence on later thinkers and writers. His ideas about the will, suffering, and pessimism resonated with existentialists like Friedrich Nietzsche, even though Nietzsche later critiqued and adapted these concepts. Writers such as Leo Tolstoy, Thomas Mann, and Marcel Proust were also deeply influenced by Schopenhauer's views on human desire and the inevitability of suffering. His emphasis on the irrational and emotional aspects of life anticipated many themes in modern psychology and literature. Moreover, Schopenhauer's exploration of the role of art and music shaped aesthetic theory in the 19th and 20th centuries. He argued that music, in particular, could express the essence of reality more directly than words or visual art, a view that inspired many composers and artists. Even today, his work is studied not only for its philosophical insights but also for its relevance to understanding human psychology, creativity, and the enduring struggles of life. Love or suffering? 7. Schopenhauer also offered a critical view of human relationships and society. He believed that social interactions are often driven by ego, selfishness, and the pursuit of personal gain, which only perpetuates suffering. Romantic love, while often idealized, was seen by Schopenhauer as another manifestation of the will. He argued that love and desire are not purely emotional or spiritual connections, but mechanisms through which the will seeks to propagate itself, often leading to conflict and disappointment. Friendship and social bonds, however, could provide temporary relief from isolation and suffering. Through shared experiences and empathy, people can momentarily transcend their own desires and connect with others on a deeper level. Schopenhauer's observations about human behavior were often pessimistic, yet they offered practical insights into navigating relationships with awareness and caution, highlighting the importance of compassion and understanding. Perception versus reality explained. 8. Schopenhauer's philosophy also addressed the nature of knowledge and perception. He drew a distinction between the world as it appears, the phenomenal world, and the world as it is, the noumenal reality of the will. According to him, humans perceive the world through their senses and intellect, but these perceptions are limited and shaped by our desires and mental frameworks. We never see reality directly, instead, we interpret it through the lens of our own will and personal experiences. This epistemological approach influenced later thinkers, particularly Immanuel Kant, and contributed to discussions about the limits of human knowledge. Schopenhauer's idea that reality is fundamentally driven by a blind, irrational force challenged traditional views of rationality and order in the universe. By understanding the distinction between appearances and the will, individuals could gain deeper insight into human suffering and the true nature of existence. Schopenhauer's lasting impact. 9. Schopenhauer's influence extended beyond philosophy and literature to psychology and the arts. Sigmund Freud, the founder of psychoanalysis, acknowledged Schopenhauer's concept of the unconscious will as a precursor to his own theories about human motivation and desire. In the arts, writers, musicians, and composers drew inspiration from his ideas on suffering, desire, and the transcendent power of music. For example, composers like Richard Wagner were influenced by Schopenhauer's notion that music expresses the innermost essence of reality, beyond words or visual representation. Furthermore, Schopenhauer's reflections on pessimism, suffering, and the limitations of human desire resonated with modern existential and psychological thought. His work encouraged a more nuanced understanding of the human condition, emphasizing the interplay between suffering, desire, and fleeting moments of beauty and peace. Finding peace in suffering. 10. In conclusion, Schopenhauer's philosophy presents a pessimistic yet profound view of human existence. He depicted life as a constant struggle dominated by desire, suffering, and the blind force of the will. Yet within this bleak framework, he offered paths to relief and insight, art, music, compassion, and the renunciation of desires. Through these avenues, individuals can momentarily escape the relentless demands of the will and experience glimpses of peace, beauty, and understanding. Schopenhauer's influence spans philosophy, literature, psychology, and the arts, shaping how we think about human nature, suffering, and the pursuit of meaning. Even today, his work challenges us to confront the reality of our desires, the inevitability of suffering, and the ways in which we might navigate life with awareness and empathy. His enduring legacy lies in his unflinching honesty about the human condition, and in the tools he provides for finding moments of clarity and relief amidst life's inevitable hardships.